We are going to actually wrap things up, but don't leave, because there is another presentation that is a much better finale than Joanna and I. So I would like to, first of all, thank Joanna and Steve and Kyle for all their hard, great work on this, in helping us curate this day. I'd like to thank all of our speakers. Please join me in a round of applause for all the speakers,
Christine.
all the presentations that we've seen today. Thank you very much, everyone. And I would also like to thank the TEA staff, Jenny, Tammy, Linda, Marie, and all of the amazing volunteers who've been helping out today. Joe Fox and the rest of the tech crew back there, thank you so much. Very smooth day, thank you. Please do remember to complete your evaluation forms. And also remember that tomorrow morning, we start day 2, if you're attending day 2, at 8:30. So the continental breakfast will be available, and the room will open at 8:15, and Roberta and Pat have a very action-packed day for us, a busy day, sorry, for us tomorrow, full of lots of great projects that are being recognized with Thea Awards this year. Joanna.
Please remember your evaluation forms. Fill them in. We use them. It's helpful. Thank you very much. We're clearing off the stage, and I'm going to start introducing you to... Oh, I'm going to thank the sponsors. Thank you, Christine. The rest of our global sponsors, which, again, this is all possible because we have such great supporters of this industry. We're going to recognize the following of the last 11 of the 21. JRA, Craftwork, Match Systems, Mediamation, Mousetrap, Oceaneering, PCL Construction, Sally Corporation, Stantec, Thinkwell, Wärtsilä North America Entertainment Systems. Thank you. Let's join me in giving them a round of applause. Now, everybody should have glasses, right? Don't put them on yet. I will tell you when. So for our finale, we're presenting 3D Live. 3D Live is pioneering the future of out-of-home entertainment with awe-inspiring, immersive experiences based on its patented holographic 3D LED display technology. The company serves the live events, theme park, and cinema markets by developing spectacular, award-winning experiences such as Mass Effect, New Earth attraction at California's Great America, and Flying Lotus's 3D tour across North America. Presenting today are Nathan Huber, co-founder and CEO, as well as Christian Dieckmann, Chief Strategy Officer. Nathan is an entrepreneur and creative technologist at heart, with roots in film, TV, and music. His experience with stereo goes all the way back to working on Avatar at Lightstorm. Prior to 3D Live, Christian oversaw strategy and business development at Cedar Fair Entertainment. Now, anyone doesn't have 3D glasses? Raise your hand. All right, now it's time to put on your 3D glasses as we present the featured 3D Live experience.
All right, am I gonna have to do this all over again? You guys look amazing in 3D. Oh, wait. Well, a big thanks to Ryan, our COO and co-founder, for that presentation. He makes it look a lot more stylish than I or Nathan would. I'm Christian Dieckmann, Chief Strategy Officer. I'm going to let Nathan do most of the talking here. He's had a host of experience with this technology and working in stereo, content, and hardware. So I'll let him do most of the talk here. But before I do, just want to set a little bit of context on how 3D Live actually got involved in the themed entertainment industry. So again, my background is I was working at Cedar Fair, and part of my job responsibility was to go out there and look for all the new trends and technologies out there, led a lot of the projects we did in virtual reality and augmented reality. And about 4 years ago, I met Nathan and the 3D Live team. I got a demo in their warehouse east of downtown LA, very similar to what you guys saw, and I was very blown away. Wasn't quite sure what to do with it, but they were able to come back to me in a few weeks' time with a pretty concrete idea for an attraction that, frankly, is pretty close to what we ended up doing with them. And about 18 months later, we had an award-winning attraction, Mass Effect, up at California's Great America, when it's Cedars Fair's Park up in Silicon Valley, and was just really excited about the potential for the technology and the team and the company. And so I was so impressed with it that I decided to hop over and join a startup to help go after this new technology. And we just think there's a host of opportunities here, especially in location-based entertainment, but also in everything from cinema, esports events, and live shows, you name it. There's just a lot of things we can do with this display of technology. So a little bit about Nathan. I mean, you got his background, but he's just one of the most passionate, creative, hardworking, and technology astute executives I've ever had the fortune of working with, and has been a fantastic person to be a partner with, both when I was effectively the client and the sponsor on the Cedar Fair side, but now being a business partner as well. So without anything else, further ado, Nathan Huber.
That was really, really nice of you to say that. Very over-exaggerated, but my confidence monitor is covered, so I'm just going to look at these. Let's see here about advancing. So, as we're all involved in entertaining and getting people excited, what everyone is talking about these days is immersion, right? Concert tours. In fact, it's kind of really small, so I'll just come over here. So concert tours, that's how we got started with this technology. What seems to be happening in live entertainment is people just tend to go bigger, brighter, louder. And I think what's really the ethos of our company is as creative technologists, is figuring out what's on the horizon, and all of us are creative technologists, seeing what's on the horizon, figuring out ways to connect those dots, to continue to get people off the couch and away from Hulu and Netflix, because that's really what we're trying to do, right? Unless someone here is working for Hulu and Netflix, but I don't think that's what TEA does, right? Everyone's talking about immersion, right? Concert tours, the stages are getting larger, they're wrapping around. Virtual reality, augmented reality, everyone's talking about them, even though it still has a bit of a runway, or at least a ways to go before it becomes fully actualized. So the demand for immersion is super, super high. And I think as creative technologists, what we have to do is find those technologies, but the technologies aren't going to sell themselves. So we have to think about where creativity and technology come together, where those places meet. And that's what 3D Live's been trying to do with this technology that we've invented. I guess we can probably just continue on here. So what is it about 3D LED? Well, normally with all the dark rides and all the amazing attractions that have preceded what we've done, they tend to use projection. And projection is great. However, there's certain things about LED that are amazing. You can actually create really, really bright imagery with 3D, where basically you can have a live performer. And that was part of, we probably should have tested this before we did it, but normally you can have a stage light interacting, so you couldn't really see Ryan moving around. But basically, when a performer is interacting in a virtual 3D experience, they're sharing the same shadow space. And I think that's really important, because what we're trying to do when we create these attractions is we're obviously trying to increase that suspension of disbelief. And with projection, you're always projecting a black. But with LED, for the first time, even as it's coming in cinema, you're finally getting a true black, where my shadow is the same shadow of the virtual objects and virtual worlds that we're creating. That's pretty amazing. Also, you get increased angles of view. It's very easy to use. You don't have to deal with bulbs from projectors anymore. They're not dimming. You don't have to replace them. The efficiency on these things is just spectacular. LED has been evolving for 20 plus years, so we're looking at amazing technology now that has really, really long lifespan on it. And it's been used in the concert touring world quite a bit, which makes it very, very easy, because concert tours, they have to go up and down every night as they tour the world. They have to be in the back of a semi, jostling around. So the product is now very, very reliable and rugged. So I was talking about superior brightness. Also, when it comes to LED, now we're finally getting to the point where we're meeting digital cinema standards. So we can actually beat, well, right now we're meeting what projectors can do. I mean, obviously the cost is somewhat high, but the color range can actually meet what projection can do, and it's going to surpass it in the next year. You're getting really extreme 3D depth, because now when you're looking at a 3D experience, you're not looking at reflected light. You're looking at the image itself is the light source. So that means the polarized light is getting better cancellation. And so that means each eye is getting a cleaner separation between the two, which means your negative extreme depth is increased, and your positive. So we can literally have stuff. We took it kind of easy on you guys with this one, but we can put stuff between your glasses and your nose comfortably, where literally you feel like something might be about to swat you in the face. And we can do it very, very comfortably, because we're also creating imagery that's not introducing a flicker, which a lot of projectors still do when they're using rotating polarizers to reduce the use of, I'm going to start going too nerdy, but a lot of times when people used to do 3D, they would use 2 projectors, which means you're going to have issues with alignment, focus, different brightnesses of bulbs, so they go with a single projector. But that single projector has a flickering effect, because it's rotating a polarizer in at high frequency. So if you're in a moving attraction ride, or if you're moving around at all, you'll start to match that frequency with your movement, and there'll be a shuddering in the imagery. But with LED, each eye is getting high frequency, direct view imagery. So you're not getting any more of that strobing or shuddering, which can start to cause headaches and nausea. So basically, LED is addressing those headache issues as well. And now, because we've been spending a lot of time with it, it's plug and play. You can use it like plugging it into a laptop. It's like a monitor at this point. So the usability is great. The viewing is great. It's very scalable and modular. You can build them as big as you want. Imagine if we had enough inventory to show you and wrap this whole room. We could put you into a virtual reality experience without a big, heavy, sweaty pink eye transmitter. We can do this for you guys. So it's an augmented reality, virtual reality type experience that can be shared. Because virtual reality, another big issue with it is we all want to go out and we want to look at our boyfriend or our girlfriend or our husband or wife or friends. We want to be able to hold hands and enjoy that experience together. Virtual reality is a very singular experience. What we're giving you now with 3D LED is a window into virtual worlds that can be shared by mass audiences, hundreds, thousands. These are some of the projects we've done. We started again in the concert world. So we just won a Polestar Award for the Flying Lotus tour that went across North America, and they're still doing some more shows this year. We were doing shows for up to 10,000 people. Just great response from it. So it's a great way to test the tech. We also took it to Disney and the El Cap Theater. They do a lot of pre-movie shows. And so because it's a great virtual world for people to interact with, we had choreographed dancers interacting with the Inside Out theme, where you had the sad dancer being chased around by a rain cloud or whatever. So it's really great for virtual interaction. And then, of course, Christian came along, and we did a partnership with Electronic Arts and created Mass Effect, which has been a really, really fun experience for us. And now we're really excited to be involved in this, this themed entertainment space. These are just a few of the reactions we get from the audience. When you see a performer on stage, and all of a sudden there's this massive spaceship flying 200 to 300 feet out into the audience, it's fun for us as being guys that work in the space because we can look around at the concerts and just see the faces, the drool, and the mouths just, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of drugs probably, but I think the general reaction isn't because of those things. This just enhances that experience to some extent. So the tech, where did it come from, right? So our head engineer, Brad Nelson, brilliant guy. He's got the Star Trek phaser in the Smithsonian with his name on it. Really, really clever dude. Started developing this technology for Michael Jackson. This was going to be the centerpiece of the Michael Jackson This Is It show. And then unfortunately, he passed away and no one got to see it. So that's when we formed 3D Live. We took the technology. We knew it was a bit clunky at the time, very difficult to use, lots of computers, lots of cables, lots of converter boxes, very, very complex. And we made it much more streamlined and started taking it on tour. If anyone remembers the band Primus from the 90s, Les Claypool, amazing guy, gave us an opportunity to take this out. And we did a couple tours and really, really got great feedback. And since then, we started going into music festivals. Like I mentioned, we've done Coachella. With the Flying Lotus thing, we had a 10,000 people audience. It was a spectacular event. And then Mass Effect came along. And I think we have a little video here about Mass Effect.
On this episode of Inside Track, we'll learn about the groundbreaking technology of Mass Effect New Earth, a 4D holographic space journey across the galaxy based on the successful video game series. From building and maintaining the world's greatest rides to how we serve millions of guests, Inside Track takes you backstage and behind the scenes of your favorite parks.
The project basically starts with a concept where we sit around with outlines and ideas, and then we ping pong back and forth with the creative team at BioWare and at the park. We're really excited to be able to work with such a renowned company like Electronic Arts and get directly involved in a creative process with BioWare, the creators of Mass Effect, with the assistance of so many people, Howard Newstate and Christian Dieckmann coming together and assisting us.
Working with Clint from Halon and Nathan and Ryan from 3D Live, we started kicking around ideas about how to translate the Mass Effect environment and story into an experience that would register with our guests in the park.
From there, we started moving into conceptual art. We did a lot of rendering and virtual reality planning for the inside of the theater.
Everything for Mass Effect New Earth is custom, and in most cases is the first time in the world it's ever been used for an amusement experience.
So starting with the sound alone, which is a record breaker, and the first time we've ever been able to combine this near-field waveform beaming technology with a far-field atmospheric surround sound.
Each speaker has its own separate sound pattern. So we can have 70 different sounds being emitted from 70 different speakers simultaneously in the theater. The experience is nothing like you've ever heard.
So we're really excited about bringing that, mixing that with our 3D LED technology. We're installing the first ever 3D LED inside any theme park in the world.
You've never seen an image this clear, this large, and with this much dynamic range. When you're looking at 3D on a screen like this, you can't help but reach out and try and touch the item. It's that real. When we couple that with having live actors in front of the screen, it gives you that holographic effect.
On top of that, we're throwing in a lot of different automation tools in the motion seat system.
You're sitting on a transducer, which is basically like a giant subwoofer, so we can send various vibration patterns through your seat.
As well as sound, smell, water. And we're all excited to bring something that's so heavy tech into Silicon Valley at California's Great America. Well, I can't wait for this to be done. It's been a long time in coming. We've been working on this now for over a year with Electronic Arts and BioWare, and they're a great team to work with. Really, really fun catalog of games, and Mass Effect being spectacular, and that we know that this is something that we're going to be proud of for a very, very long time. But we're already getting really, really excited, just even though we're under construction, still seeing the pieces coming to life.
I can't wait to ride this ride myself. With all of the work, the hard work that's been done by so many different teams from Mediamation, Crescendo, EA, BioWare, Electrosonic, as well as 3D Live and the Cedar Fair team, I know that this is going to be a unique experience, and certainly given all of the technology, a first of its kind.
So yeah, that was a great, we'd never done anything in the theme park space before. All we'd ever done is almost kill ourselves on concert tours, and you're just rushing to get things up and down and putting something together. So that was a really getting our feet wet and also getting cut up and bruised and losing sleep, and it was an awesome, wonderful, terrible experience all in one. But we're so honored that it worked out, and there's something really great. This is an image from the attraction. It kind of gives you an idea of what you're able to do with 3D LED. So with projection, you got to worry about reflection. You got to worry about hot spots. You got to worry about ambient light washing out the screen. Like the T2 attraction, which was a huge inspiration for me as a kid, and then also when we started building this attraction. Now you can have live performers interacting with virtual objects. You can light them. You can have, let's say, for instance, a red laser is shooting down on you. You can have lighting that simulates it. I can put my hand out and have a blue butterfly float over it, and then all of a sudden the light from that butterfly spills on me. It's all about that suspension of disbelief that's continued with this technology. So it's a great tool for that. We used a lot of practical effects. Kind of represented here is a moment in the attraction where you crash into this giant alien reaper thing that looks kind of like a giant roach, and basically you have these things happening in the negative, and if you can actually trigger lots of practical effects that are happening around you at the same time with negative virtual experiences, it's wonderful. A lot of fun things you can do with the tech there. Interactivity with props is great too. We've been playing a lot with game engines. As we all know, game engines are really running the world right now. Everyone in their phone has tons of game engines going on right now. We all know the game industry is growing crazily fast, and a lot of the technology and tools involved in virtual reality and augmented reality are getting tons of funding to make real-time interactive experiences happen. So now when you go to an attraction, it doesn't have to be something that's just playing on a server. It can be something that changes throughout the day. It can change from ride to ride. It could change throughout the month. Gives the theme park a reason to put that attraction in, because now people can come back and do that ride again, and it may not be the exact same thing. It might be slightly different. So it's opening a lot of opportunities, and it works really well with virtual experiences and the LED. The comfort of viewing 3D. Another cool thing about LED is because of the increased contrast ratio, the brightness, you can go 60 hertz, 120 hertz. You can just push such amazing content to your disparate feeds in your brain. You don't get that eye strain that you normally associate with 3D. A lot of times when we make presentations, we'll ask people before we show them anything, how many people here enjoy a 3D movie? And no one puts their hands up. I mean, there might be a couple guys, but it's generally because they associate it with discomfort, headaches, nausea, all those things. With 3D LED, we make it very easy for your visual cortex to fuse those disparate images to make a very comfortable viewing experience. Also, we're working with circular polarized glasses. We can also build, we custom build everything. So we can go with whatever you're really looking for, but that also increases the comfort of the viewing experience. Another important thing to mention about LED is your angle of view. Normally when you're doing projection 3D, your angle of view in a movie theater is roughly about 35 degrees at best, and then it starts to deteriorate. So the reason we're able to do this in concerts is because with LED, the light that's being emitted is always polarized. It's not reflected. So your angle of view, both vertical and horizontal, is massively increased to 120, even 140 degrees, which is huge. That's another wonderful thing about it. Oh, this is really important too. The last thing, seeing 3D for the first time. We've had a ton of people. We haven't had a chance yet to do like a proper medical study, but people with lazy eyes, scratched corneas, different kinds of optical issues with their eyes, a lot of people haven't been able to see 3D. And when they view stereo 3D through an LED, it's the first time. I can't tell you how many times I've had someone put their hand up and just say, I didn't think I was going to see anything because I never do. I was just going to keep my mouth shut. They'll be like, I've never seen 3D before. I mean, in a visual display method. And now they're able to see it because we make it very easy for your brain to perceive it. So it's just another great thing about LED. Image quality. What you guys saw was about a 6 mil. This is about like a concert touring style wall. So sort of low res. What we're working on this year is getting into super high res. So we're doing about a 2 mil, and then we'll be going sub 2, which means you can be 12 feet away from it and not see any pixelation. So that's big for the cinema industry because now color's there, brightness is there, image quality is going to be on par, if not better, resolution-wise with projection. So eventually cinema is going to, when the cost comes down, it's actually going down about 15 to 20% each year. Within the next 3 years, this is going to be something that's going to work its way into cinema. So it's a really, really awesome tool for the future of display. Atmospheric surround sound. Normally when you're working with projectors, you can put your speakers behind the screen. When you're working with emissive LED, you can't really do that because the image source is like a PCB board, more or less. There are systems and tools, which we tested on the Mass Effect Attraction, which give you all the channels you need and that surround sound. So those systems are now in place, and they can be implemented to make a full atmospheric surround sound system with a very high-end display system. I mentioned the costs are coming down. Another really interesting thing, guys, is I mentioned the audience reactions are cool, but let's say you're doing something in virtual reality, or you're doing something in augmented reality, or whatever it is. How do you get the throughput up, right? That's a major issue with virtual reality. The cool thing about LED is basically it treats these virtual experiences like this is a window into a virtual world. So I could have an experience here where I've got a VR headset on, and sometime if you guys want to reach out to us, come down to our warehouse and make a presentation. I can put someone in VR, and normally you're just looking at a monitor off to the side, and you're kind of seeing what they're doing, right? With this tool, we can give you a window into the virtual reality world. So if I'm in VR and I'm like going, oh, you know, trying to do something, you can now see that world floating around the person in VR and interact with them. So now you can have audience interaction with people who are in a virtual experience, which really is awesome because now you can, say you got a son up here or a daughter and they're playing, you can now interact with them, mess with them, put an obstacle in their way. It kind of opens up all these different opportunities for the audience to be engaged in a virtual experience. So, I mean, really that's about it. We're really excited to push this technology forward, and if you guys ever want to come to our place for a demo, we're showing you guys some really, really exciting stuff, and thanks for the opportunity to present.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the THEA Award recipient presentation. Have a great night, everyone. See you bright and early tomorrow, 8:15 a.m. That's a wrap.